What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, we continue to talk about the fallout of Monolith and just WB games in general. And there's a pretty interesting interview with Jason Schreier on Kinda Funny Games. Now, there's a couple clips going around. And what's interesting about the topic I want to talk about in this video specifically, Superman, right? So kind of two different clips that tell two different stories. And it's interesting because, you think about Jason Schreier, and the guy's very, very plugged in, right? He knows his stuff. He knows people in the industry, and he's out there freaking breaking the news of these studios closing probably before they even know. Now, I don't know if that's like the most amazing thing. I don't know if you would gloat about that, but that's something that he does, okay? So in one clip, he talks about how he has basically heard that there hasn't been any Superman thing for an incredibly long time. He does, in response to Greg in a different clip, talk about how there might have been some sort of pitch for a Superman game, back in the day, but nothing that really made it off the ground. Now, that's contradicted by Greg Miller that we'll talk about, but the interesting part with the Schreier comment is, okay, so he hasn't heard that, anything was happening, and he actually goes on to actually kind of damn a studio in the making, and he says how Rocksteady in particular, back in the day, were very, very vocal about not doing Superman. Like, they went out of their way to say, we are not doing a Superman game. So that's one part of this entire thing, right? Not only, you have the Wonder Woman stuff, and again, this is kind of the fallout of that whole situation, right? You could say, okay, they had a chance for all of these years to freaking do a Superman game. They had a chance to do a Wonder Woman game. What went wrong? Well, in the one case, you literally had, for a time, the pioneer WB Games studio. You really think Rocksteady, right? Back in the Arkham days, they were the ones. They're out there literally saying, no, we're not going to touch that thing, whatsoever. So you have him saying that. That's just great to hear, right? That just kind of adds salt to the wound. But then you have Greg Miller swooping in, right? I believe this clip was after that. And he talks about how back when he was with IGN, now I believe they just celebrated 10 years at Kinda Funny. Okay, I'm pretty sure that happened. So he's talking literally 10 years ago, probably 10 and a half years ago, okay, towards the very, very end of IGN. He said he had two different sources that he trusts 100%. That's what he said. Two sources that said there was a Superman thing going on. Now, canceled, obviously, but how far along was that? Now, that actually kind of caught Jason Schreier off guard. He actually seemed very surprised, and he actually asked Greg on air, right, on the video, what studio, and then Greg said, he can't say that live at that time. They'll say it privately, which is fun, but he can't say it live for all of us. To be honest with you, does it really matter all that much? If it's been 10, 11 years, if the game was canceled maybe 8 or 9 years ago, does it matter all that much which studio it was? I don't think it was Monolith, so, maybe that's why. Maybe because the studio that was doing a Superman game is still operational, is still going on. They would probably get a lot of hate for it. I don't actually know if that would end up happening, though, right? I think what I'm trying to get at with this video continues to just highlight the stupidity of almost everyone involved in all of this stuff, right? I'll take it to my grave. You could say, well, it's still a risk, and there's no guarantee Superman. I really don't understand why we are so specific about Batman and only Batman, and yet at the same time you had a Batman Beyond game that you canceled. So let's not forget that they canceled their own, or one of their own games that was in the Batman universe, and now they're tripling down. In fact, now they don't want anything to do with anything else. Look, at the end of the day, both of these people, what they're talking about, right, Schreier and Greg Miller, they're talking about things that seemingly are pretty old. They're talking about pitches 10 years ago. They're talking about a game that could have been in the works 10 years ago. I guess it highlights, kind of a alternate universe, what if type scenario, right? Like, what if we actually got a Superman game? Boy, wouldn't that be swell. But also, it was so long ago, I truly don't think it should matter now. And, we just talked about, the James Gunn stuff, which aged like milk. So I don't know how much to trust that guy. But, when it comes to the future of DC, they still got to take risks. I know we're dealing with the fallout, and I'm actually still, kind of shocked. Actually, I kind of woke up today and was thinking, man, did that actually happen? We literally are not getting Wonder Woman. I don't know if you guys are aware. But no, look, you still have to try stuff. If literally you're going to get 1 or 2 studios just making Batman games every 2-3 years. That doesn't mean they aren't going to be good. It doesn't mean I won't or will like them. I probably would like them, by the way. It's just, is this really where we're heading for their DC component, of WB? Pathetic. It would be so pathetic if that was our future in the next, say, 2 to 5 years. All you get is a couple studios doing Batman. If that's it, that is unreal. And at this point, what really are they showing us to say they're willing to do stuff outside of that, right? Wonder Woman, not going to happen. Superman, I'm still crossing my fingers and praying and hoping, but I don't know. I don't think what happened a long time ago should matter now, especially because Superman literally kicks off their DC universe, now kind of present time, right? So I feel, and also, I don't really think games should be connected to movies in that way, where it's like, oh, well, you need a movie to be successful. You can make a good Flash game. That Flash movie, failing, and then they canceled the game that we heard about with WB Montreal, should not matter whatsoever, okay? It has nothing to do, I know it's the same name, and it's the same character, but it's really not. Ezra Miller's Flash is definitely not anybody else's version of Flash. You should be fine. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just kind of want to make a video talking about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.